As you have seen last time, after the Pahalgam attack, the Quad partners came together in July when we met. A very strong statement was released by the Quad on the Pahalgam attacks. At the same time, we worked very closely with the United States, which resulted in the UN monitoring report actually publishing, mentioning the resistance front, the TRF had got mentioned in the UN Monitoring Committee report under the 1267 Sanctions Committee. At the same time, the State Department also has declared the TRF to be forest terrorist organizations. I think there was a question by Siddhant on what is the focus of the Quad, whether the US is interested or engaged in it. I think you should, as I just had kind of indicated earlier today, I think the United States is very engaged, continues to remain engaged in the Quad. You saw that in Secretary Rubio's statement, and also acknowledged by the Australian Foreign Minister in her articulation of the amount of importance that the US is paying to the Quad. And I would encourage you also to look at the US focus on the Indo-Pacific through their new national security strategy and their national defense strategy, which would also kind of indicate to you their focus on this region and on the Quad. And as I said, in 18 months, this is the third meeting. So the Quad foreign ministers remain deeply engaged, and these are three of those meetings where they have come together as a group. But also, please don't forget that the Quad foreign ministers meet on multiple occasions at other plurilateral platforms, which keep happening from time to time. So I think the focus remains, as we always keep saying, that the Quad is here to stay, and the Quad will continue to keep going strong. We do not see that our work has kind of come down. It has only increased. We've been adding layers of initiatives to what we keep doing in the Quad domain, and our partners are very happy with the kind of work we are doing and delivering. One of the colleagues had asked about whether any country would like to join. As of now, the Quad continues to remain a grouping of 4 members, but we are delivering for all of the Indo-Pacific. So I think wherever we see there is a potential for collaboration in specific areas, I don't think the Quad is averse to working with other partners. So there was a question on counter-terrorism and whether there is any exercises. I would encourage you to please look at the Quad fact sheet that we have released. If you look at the serial number 4 of the fact sheet, it very clearly says that last year India had hosted 2 Quad workshops on counter-terrorism, which is focused on countering the use of unmanned aerial vehicles, drones for terrorist purposes, and preventing terrorist exploitation of new and emerging technologies. And Quad partners will hold Quad counter-terrorism tabletop exercises, which will be focused on state-sponsored terrorism threats and uncrewed aerial vehicles. So this is going to take place in Australia next month, in the month of June. So Quad is heavily focused on CT because this is an area that I think all Quad partners continue to remain engaged. Terrorism is changing. The nature of terrorism is transforming. The kind of instrumentalities that the terrorist organizations are deploying are also changing. So this requires that all Quad partners join hands together. As you have seen last time, after the Pahalgam attack, the Quad partners came together in July when we met. A very strong statement was released by the Quad on the Pahalgam attacks. At the same time, we worked very closely with the United States, which resulted in the UN monitoring report actually publishing, mentioning the resistance front, the TRF had got mentioned in the UN Monitoring Committee report under the 1267 Sanctions Committee. At the same time, the State Department also has declared the TRF to be forest terrorist organization. So I think Quad is a very valuable platform for our CT discussions. And the CT working group is a very vibrant group that does a lot of activities, a lot of tabletop exercises between the law enforcement agencies, between all the four Quad countries.